Last year it was the Panama Papers, and this year we are now unfolding the Paradise Papers. This, in fact, is the largest ever leak in media history, with over 13 million documents being leaked from two incorporation groups, that is the Appleby and Asia City. While Appleby is based in Bermuda, Asia City is located in Singapore, and along with this, 19 entire registries, secret registries, have also been put as part of the data set. The ICIJ has partnered with about 100 media groups for this collaboration, and what is exciting is that it unfolds corporate history and a corporate connection with offshore companies in various jurisdictions like never before.
So to fully appreciate the scope of this global investigation, we need to first look at the scale. Paradise Papers contain 13.4 million files, which is significantly more than the 11 million we had in Panama Papers.
So what is the core difference between the Panama Papers and the Paradise Papers? The Panama Papers were more about individuals who had incorporated offshore companies in various jurisdictions, while in the case of the Paradise Papers, the details are more of corporates and companies and of incorporation of trusts. Appleby, for instance, has incorporated about 2,700 trusts.
Appleby is an offshore service provider in this case, whose documents we are going through, and they have been providing services across various jurisdictions such as British Virgin Islands, Bermuda, and many more. In terms of files linked to India, the scale gets even bigger. In Panama Papers, we had about 37,000 files. Paradise Papers have more than 66,000.
So how the data came, in fact, the ICIJ developed a customized database which was called Knowledge Center, where all these documents were put. So there was a 3-layer security for the documents. Our team of 5 journalists, we scanned more than 66,000 documents were related to India.
What is important to know is that what do they contain? In one word, they lift the corporate veil from the layers of companies that Indian entities or promoters have created in these jurisdictions. The internal communication between Appleby and the companies show that the promoters and the companies, they were looking for facilitation to set up companies in one of those jurisdictions.
Companies are entitled to what is known as the corporate veil. A company and its shareholders, or different companies under a corporate structure, they are all distinct legal entities, and one is not responsible for any wrongdoing by the other unless the latter turns out to be a sham. Companies are also free to conduct their finances whichever way they wish to reduce tax liabilities. Merely tax-saving motives cannot invalidate an otherwise genuine transaction or allow the regulator to go behind it and look for evidence of any supposed wrongdoing. That's what we call the Westminster principle. The burden of justification is always on the regulator. Only when a fraud is established, the regulator can lift the corporate veil, because a fraud unravels everything.
What we also see is that Indian entities, they were asking Appleby to appoint their officials, Appleby's officials, as nominee directors in the companies that were set abroad for these Indian promoters. Almost all the instructions for all practical purposes of running that company there or for any financial transaction involved, all the instructions were going from India, and they were just following that. What is interesting to note is that the same set of officials from Appleby, they were appointed as board of directors of scores of companies.
We accompanied by our different bureau reporters, we visited all the concerned addresses of the people, and at the last we sent queries to the concerned persons, individuals, and to the companies, head of the companies whom we were investigating. So that is how our investigation was completed.
As far as the Indian connection is concerned, there is plenty of it, and there are hundreds of names that we are now going to unfold. And as it transpires, there are several companies and corporates who figure in Appleby data and who figure in the registries, who have subsequently come in the snare of Indian investigating agencies too.
Paradise Papers is a treasure trove of such evidences and leads which should further help the regulator to overcome the obstacle of secrecy which protects the offshore world of dodgy finances.